Rakataya Yahweh Rakataya Yahweh, Rakataya Yahweh Call Halal Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Racha Kadash, double honors to our elders and apostles, great millstone, peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered across the four winds, and double honors to the men that taught our elders and apostles. Uh, so in these last days, we can push this word out to the hopeful elect. And just want to go over a few, you know, I was having a discussion with, the end of, and they don't seem to understand that the Lord set it up to where, marriage is a union between a man and a woman. You know, it's a, you know, it's a union that's consummated by sex, and it has nothing to do with, making an agreement with the government. These modern day uh, people, males and females alike, believe that, in order to be married, that you have to go down to the courthouse and make an agreement with the government, and this is simply not true. I know there's one group that says that, if you find a wife, in order to be into their organization, you have to and go to the courthouse, and the scriptures that they use, I believe, I'm gonna pull it up a little bit later, but you know we're just gonna get, this is before the law was passed out, but it's still, the things are written aforetime are written for our learning. And it says, this is Genesis chapter 16 and verse 1. It says, now Sarah, Abraham's wife, bore him no children, and she had a handmaid. Okay, so let's get what this is. Handmaid, Shah Pa Ha, Shapaha, which means a maid servant, slave girl. So she had a slave girl. It says, a maid servant as belonging to a mistress being the head of the household. So it says, so Sarah, Abraham's wife, bare him no children, and she had a handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarah said unto Abram, behold, now Yahweh have restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go into my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarah. And the name of the Lord is Yahweh, which means He is or He exists. And the name of the only begotten Son, which the world ignorantly calls Jesus, is Yahweh Shah, which means He is the deliverer. But it says, and Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarah, and Sarah, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram, to be his wife. Okay, verse 4. And he went into Hagar, and she conceived, and then she saw that she had conceived. Her mistress was despised in her eyes. Okay, so Abram went into Hagar. Where is it? Yeah. Abram went into Hagar, Bawa, to go in, enter, go in, to come in, to come upon, fall, or light upon, attack, you know. So he went in unto her, and, you know, befall, besiege. So, and she became his wife. I mean, and that's, you know, although she did not have the rights of a real wife, what she would be called as a concubine because she was of another nation. You know, she was of another nation, so she was a what you would call a lesser wife. You know, because let's get it in here. Let's get it in Genesis. Okay, and this is 25:1. It says, then again Abraham took a wife, and her name was Keturah. Okay, so it's saying that she's a wife, but she's not actually a wife. And it says, and she bare him Zimram and Jokashan and Midian and Madian and Ishbak and Shua, and Jokashan begot Sheba and Dedan, and the sons of Dedan are Ashuram and Letashim and Lemim, and the sons of Midian, Ephah, and Epher, and Hanak, and Abada, and Eldai, and these are the children of Keturah. And Abraham gave all that he had unto Isaac, but unto the sons of the concubines which Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts and sent them away from Isaac his son while he yet lived eastward to the east country. So we're gonna get that word concubine, and it says concubine par. Okay, it's the word is paya lagash, paya lagasha, and it's concubine. Let's get that word. Okay, the first word was paramar. This is paramar. It says a lover, especially the illicit partner of a married person. So, you know, so these are the words that were described by concubine, paramar, and concubine. Paramar is the illicit partner of a married person. Okay, and we're gonna get concubine. Concubine is a woman who lives with a man she is not married to, and in some societies has a lower social rank than his wife. The word concubine comes from the Latin verb "corbere," which means to lie down. So I mean, this pretty much it. You know, it gives the definition equally enough. I mean, good enough. She's a lesser wife. You know, and still being exclusive to the man. So she is a you know a female partner that is a wife, but less than a wife. So that being said, okay, so you know, going into a woman makes her your wife. It's not, an agreement that uh, we get another example of that. This is Genesis chapter 24 and verse 67. It says, and Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife. And he loved her, and Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. Okay, so it didn't require paperwork. He took her, he took her to take, to fetch. It's a la qua ha, yeah, H3947, to take in hand, to take and carry along, to take from, take away, take away. So he took her. He took her, seized her, and she became his wife. And there wasn't any paperwork that uh, that happened there. Although, I think that other group, they go into this at Tobit. I don't know if this is the specific verse that they use, but okay, there's nothing wrong. As Israelites, we've always kept records because you need to know who the lineage. need to know who the lineage is. Well, in the ancient times, in today's time, the spirit beareth witness. But in the ancient times, there was a written record of, for land rights and, things of that nature, you know. But it says, okay, this is Tobit chapter 7 and verse 13. It says, then he called his daughter Sarah, and she came to her father, and he took her by the hand and gave her to be wife to Tobias, saying, behold, take her after the law of Moses, and lead her away to thy father. And he blessed them, and called Edna his wife, and took paper and did write an instrument of covenants and sealed it. Okay, so yeah, he took a instrument of covenants, and sealed it. He didn't take it and give it to the government so they could hold it for him. No, this was something that was done, you know, in uh, uh, it's almost like a will. It's almost like a will. You don't necessarily have to take a will and, well, you have to certify it by the government, but you don't have to go and give it to the government and say, well, hey, you know, do you approve of this? No, you write out your will and you put it somewhere where you have it. You don't have to go and register it with some agency, and that's the same thing, that's the same thing that was done here. They just wrote out, the agreement, and they sealed it. So, and later on, if you read the end of the chapter, it goes into where Tobias inherited, you know, the land of, his father and his wife's, uh, his wife's inheritance, his wife's father's land. So when you read it, but yeah, that's what that's all about. And we can get it in, an example of where, uh, you know, we kept records. We kept records. This was Nehemiah chapter 7, verse 64. It says, these sought the register among those that were reckoned by genealogy, but it was not found. Therefore, they, as polluted, put forth from the priesthood. And Tarshatha, Tirshatha said unto them, that they should not eat of the most holy things till there stood up a priest with the Urim and the Thummim. So, we kept records of lineage. We kept records like this because there were certain duties given to to the Levites. There were certain priestly duties, and as it stands, the different nations, if you didn't have a record of who you were, then you weren't able to do those offices. So, I mean, we just kept records, but these records didn't have anything to do with an agreement that you make with the government. You know, let's see. Let's look that up. Okay. Uh, how long has marriage been a uh, 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 this is how long has marriage been a contract with the government? Come on, it's acting slow. Come on now. That's fine. Doesn't seem like it wants to come up. But I had looked it up earlier, and it said that I think it was 1918. Hold on, I had it on my phone. Let me pick it up real quick. Okay, yeah, okay. It says in the United States, marriage became formally recognized as a legal agreement with the government around 1913 when the federal government first acknowledged marriage in the law through the Revenue Act of 1913. By the 1920s, all states had laws regarding marriage license, signifying widespread government involvement in marriage registration. So we got people out here uh, tripping, talking about marriage and all of that. Going to get a make an agreement with the government when this practice has only been done for 100 and what it's in 1920s, 105 years. So marriage where you go and get a license with the government has only been happening for 105 years. So this shit is you can't make this shit up. But people have been uh I guess, fooled into believing that, you know, you can do whatever you want to do, and until a man gives you a ring and you go down to the courthouse or you go to that you can just do whatever the hell you want to do. That's lewd behavior. But yeah, it's only been 105 years. 105 years. Think about that. People have, 105 years before that, everybody knew that when you go into a woman, hey, she becomes your wife. I mean, that this shit is crazy. But let's get what the Lord said. Yeah, and you can't just up and decide you want to get out of, you don't want to be married no more. So, you go down to the courthouse. That's why they did it. It's behind money. But this is Matthew chapter 19 and verse 8. It says, He saith unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives, but from the beginning it was not so. And I say unto you, whosoever put away his wife, except if it be for fornication. So let's get this fornication. It says illicit sexual intercourse, adultery, homosexuality, lesbianism. Fornication and adultery mean the same thing. Intercourse with animals, sexual intercourse with close relatives. You know, this right here is not a real definition. It says, but yeah, that's G4202 pornea. So yeah. I mean, what's that sound close to? Pornea, porn, harlotry. So okay, it says, and I say unto you, whosoever put away his wife, except it be for fornication, shall marry another, and shall marry another, committeth adultery. And whosoever marrieth her which is put away doth commit adultery. So, if you're a married man and you put your wife away, you make her to you cause her to commit adultery if she goes and is with another man. Although, a man can have multiple wives according to God's laws. And, don't nobody give a fuck what you think. The Lord's laws, if you don't like it, take that up with him. You know, that's what it is. And you can believe it, you can don't believe it, doesn't really matter to me, but that's what it is. The Lord is in control. This is Romans chapter 1, In verse 1, it says, Know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law, how that the law hath dominion over a man as long as he liveth. For the woman which hath a husband is bound by the law to her husband so long as he liveth. But if the husband be dead, she is loosed from that law of her husband. So then, if while her husband liveth, she be married to another man, she shall be called an adulteress. But if her husband be dead, she is free from that law, so that she is no adulteress, though she be married to another man. So, yes, and it's one way. The Lord is, you know, He everything's not equal. You know, yeah, everything is not equal. Yes, there is a double standard. A man can have multiple women, multiple wives, as long as he doesn't sleep with another man's wife, you know. And no, a woman can't do that. So take it up with the Lord if you don't like it. Well, I don't really care. This is we're gonna get that. This is First Corinthians uh chapter 7 and verse 10. It says, And unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord, let not your wife depart from her husband. But if she depart, let her remain unmarried, or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife. So this is saying, hey, if it, a woman can separate from her husband, you know, but that don't mean she can go get another one. She can separate. If she separates from him, cool. But guess what? You still married to that man. You can't get a divorce from him. Decide, well, we separated. I need another man. No, that's not how that works. You know, that's a commandment from the Lord. If she depart from him, she needs to stay unmarried. She can't be out here with hot girl summer and all this old bullshit. Sunday fun days, and no, she has to stay unmarried and be reconciled, and to reconcile meaning to come back. I'm not gonna try and even pronounce that, but G2644 says to change mutually to compound a difference, reconcile. It says, return to favor with, to be reconciled to one. It says to reconcile those who are at variance. Man, shit, let's get the definition. And if this darn, uh, let's see if we come on. And internet not really working for me right now, so I don't know what's going on with this internet. But anyway, okay, we're in Corinthians, and it says, "And to the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord, let not the wife depart from her husband, but if she depart, let her remain unmarried and be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife." We're going to jump down to verse 39. It says, First Corinthians chapter 7, verse 39, it says, "The wife is bound by the law as long as her husband liveth. But if her husband be dead, she is at liberty to be married to whom she will, only in the Lord." So, I mean, these are the laws of the Heavenly Father. Marriage is, you know, an agreement, or I mean, marriage is consummated by sex. That's what makes a woman become a wife. And once she becomes a wife, then she is bound to that man until he dies. She can't jump from man to man to man to man. Now, I mean, if the man dies, then she's welcome to go to another one, and if he dies, she's welcome to go to another one. But while that man is alive, then she's supposed to stay. She's supposed to stay unmarried, essentially, without sex until or be reconciled back to her husband. You know, so deciding that, okay, well, I don't he doesn't do this for me anymore. He's not paying the bills right now. That ain't got shit to do with nothing. She's supposed to stay, unmarried and be reconciled to that man. And these in today's society, this is just nobody nobody wants to listen to the Heavenly Father. They don't have any fear. But guess what? It's gonna come a time to where they're gonna have a whole bunch of fear. A whole bunch of seven women will take hold of one man and say, "Can I be called by your name?" But that being said, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Rahak Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom. Hopefully, this lesson is edifying. Shalom.